Many highly respected astronomers have claimed another massive planet is lurking on the outer reaches of the solar system. NASA has even announced evidence of its existence twice, only for it to withdraw the notice. Most recently, a team for the Californian Institute of Technology said the existence of what they call Planet 9 will be proved by the end of this year. But a leading voice in a growing movement of believers claims researchers who find evidence of the planet are bumped off in a cover-up. GETTYYOUTUBESOUTHPOLESTATION. Mystery Rodney Marks and Dr. Robert Harrington disappeared after reportedly finding Nibiru. David Meade believes a giant planet called Nibiru or Planet X is hurtling through space towards Earth. He originally thought it would appear on September 23, 2017, but has now revised his estimate based on apocalyptic passages in the Bible to say it will become visible before Christmas. NASA has denied Nibiru exists, but members of the so-called Nibiru cataclysm movement say this is a cover-up to prevent panic and reserve space in underground bunkers for the world elite. Mr. Meade, author of Planet X, the 2017 arrival, says scientists who break the code of silence are disappeared. Daily Star Pictures brings you 13 mind-blowing signs that aliens exist. Shutterstock Leo Blanchett. More than 40,000 Americans have taken out insurance against being abducted by aliens. Did he know too much? David Meade. He suggests Dr. Robert Harrington, supervising astronomer U.S. Naval Observatory, who claimed to have found proof of Planet X, and Australian astrophysicist Rodney Marks, who was working at a South Pole telescope, both died in mysterious circumstances. Dr. Harrington believed Planet X was an intruder planet that passed through our solar system, and said it was capable of supporting alien life. The Christian researcher and amateur stargazer said, have there been strange instances? Yes. Dr. Harrington was mysteriously done away with in the 1990s before he could say anything, and he was head of the Naval Observatory. Then you have the mysterious death in 2000 of an individual at the South Police Telescope, who supposedly died of alcohol poisoning. Related articles. As head of the U.S. Naval Observatory, Dr. Harrington was one of the leading astronomers in the U.S. Along with James Christie, he discovered Pluto's moon Charon. Dr. Harrington became a high-profile Planet X believer, and started scouring the skies for evidence. He said the movement of the planets Uranus and Neptune and their moons pointed to another large planet beyond Pluto. YouTube believer Dr. Robert Harrington, head of the U.S. Naval Observatory, believed in Planet X. Getty twins Charon left and Pluto were finally pictured this year. Dr. Harrington was interviewed by Zecharia Sitchin, the first person to suggest the existence of Nibiru. In 1990, Sitchin had translated tablets written by an ancient Middle Eastern culture called the Sumerians. He said they told of a giant planet called Nibiru that orbited the Sun every 3,600 years. The planet, which was populated by an alien race called the Anunnaki, passed through the solar system wreaking havoc. The writer was dismissed as a crank by most scientists, but Dr. Harrington obviously took him seriously. Dr. Harrington said Pluto had once been a moon of Neptune but had been knocked out of orbit by Planet X, which he called an intruder planet, as it passed through the solar system in an elliptical orbit around the Sun. Speaking to Sitchin, he said if it is in the kind of orbit we describe here, it would have to be a planet that would have a mass something like 3 to 5 times the mass of Earth. This would put it intermediate between gaseous planets like Uranus and Neptune and the terrestrial planets we have in the inner part of the solar system. So if this planet turns out to be in a 3,600-year orbit, then its mass would be correspondingly larger. But we are talking about something that is a perfectly reasonable kind of planet that looks like a good nice planet, small enough that it's not going to be completely enveloped in gas. It's perfectly capable of supporting life forms of one kind or another. Daily Star Pictures brings you the most mysterious images of strange objects spotted on the Moon and on Mars. Getty Images. Can you spot these extraterrestrial objects? NASA's infrared astronomical satellite found signs of an unknown object, possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter and possibly so close to Earth that it would be part of this solar system. In 1983, it later withdrew the announcement, saying it had been wrong. Data from Voyager 2's flyby of Neptune supposedly disproved Dr. Harrington's calculations in 1992. 6 months later, in January 1993, he died. The official cause of death was cancer, but conspiracy theorists have their doubts. Some claim he was about to publish new observations he had made in New Zealand when he died. Blogger Marshall Masters writes Harrington sent back reports of this ominous discovery, but died of what was reported to be esophageal cancer before he could pack up his telescope and come home to hold what would have been a highly publicized press conference. Nibiru truthers claim the southern hemisphere, particularly around the South Pole, is the best place to see Nibiru, whose orbit around the Sun is said to be on a tilt to Earth's. Rodney Marks died at the South Pole while working on the Antarctic Submillimeter Telescope and Remote Observatory at the Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station. SOUTHPOLESTATION. Bizarre astronomer Rodney Marks' death at the South Pole has never been explained. The otherwise healthy 32-year-old collapsed while walking between the observatory and the base, became unwell over the next 36 hours and then died. The National Science Foundation (NSF), which runs the station, announced he had died of natural causes, but his body wasn't released for a post-mortem in New Zealand for 6 months. The autopsy found he died of ethanol poisoning, but it was unclear how he drank it. Wikipedia. Bird's-eye aerial view of buildings at the Antarctic. Rodney Marks was walking between. Suicide was ruled out as he visited the station's doctor several times after feeling unwell and was confused by his condition. He had a ready access to normal alcohol and had no personal problems, and the coroner said he couldn't have drunk it accidentally. New Zealand police said NSF was uncooperative, refused to give details of an internal reporter say who was at the station at the time. The station doctor, Robert Thompson, also disappeared in 2006. Conspiracy theorists have pored over these pictures from the moon landings and concocted all kinds of theories. Boffins have rebuffed these claims. Getty Images. The deployment of scientific experiments by astronaut Edwin Aldrin Jr. is photographed by astronaut Neil Armstrong. The coroner has never entered a final verdict on Marks' death. Dr. Mead said he spent most of his time collected data on viewing conditions and the operations of the enormous infrared telescope. Did he know too much? Related articles.